Hey everyone, this is Jamie and welcome to this World Card Making Day video. I'm so excited to share some of these cards with you. This one right here, this hay, and I want to share how these cards came together and how you can make them yourself. Okay, so this little negative cutout was literally sitting on my table and I said, hey, see what I did there? Hey, look at that. I can use that as a sentiment. And that's exactly what I did. So let's start from the beginning so you can see how I went about putting this card together. One of the things I like to do is just play with distress inks and watercolors and paints. And a lot of times I'll just keep those card bases because I don't really have anything to do with them at the time. So I pulled these out and let me let you know the distress oxide sprays used on here include the tattered rose, dried marigold, picked raspberry. I think these are great, beautiful colors, and when they come together and play, they are gorgeous. So what I wanted to do next was add one more layer of what we call mixed media layering. And so what I did was grab 3 of the Scrapbook.com exclusive stencils, and these are 3 of my favorites. I love the honeycomb. I love these little boxes. Those are adorable. And this dotted one is a perennial favorite for me for sure. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to come in here and just add, like I said, one more layer of color because I knew I wanted just to add some random layers of the stencil look in here. I'm not going to tape down the stencil, but I am going to use the ballet slipper and a Scrapbook.com ink dauber to put this all into play. This is a real easy way to just add one more layer of color and what I call color texture. I'm going to add a little more in there, just holding it in place and lifting it up to make sure I don't want a lot of color, but I do want a little bit. And you can see the little bit of subtle color that's going on there. Now what I'm going to do, one of my techniques is I add stenciling here to the left upper corner and then into the right edge. You can see that. Then I'm going to come in here, which to me is like the middle. So I have color here, I have color here. I'm going to add a little bit of color here. And I just love how it just gives me just a little bit more interest and color play. For the sentiment, I am literally grabbing out scraps of color. I think these are beautiful colors that work together. My suggestion is when you're making cards, make more than one at a time. Then what I'm going to do is reach for these Scrapbook.com exclusive alphabet die. These are the basic type. And what you're going to notice here, these are just a great size that can fit in right in this pink area of this card. Next thing I'm going to do is grab the mint tape exclusive to Scrapbook.com as well. I love this tape. It is my new favorite tool in my studio here because I'm working on making the sentiment on this paper itself. It's going to be part of the negative die. I want to hold these alpha dies in place so that they're not too terribly wonky. When I run them through my die cutting machine, this is going to cut out perfectly. I'm going to go do that next. So now not only do I have the great positive die cuts from this pattern paper, but I also have what's going to be the sentiment for the card. And you can see how my first hay made me think of now this high here. What I like to do next is use my ruler to make a cut. And let me tell you why. The part that the ruler is covering, that is going to give sort of this raw cut, this raw edge, which I like a lot. Now you don't have to do this. You can just cut this on your paper cutter and have a nice clean cut or trim it out with scissors. I'm just doing what I like to do, and I like to have some texture and some distress, a little bit of height, if you will, to these sorts of elements, and that's why I use the ruler to make that cut. Okay, so we have our card background and now we have our sentiment. The next thing I want to do is adhere the sentiment to my card base. I'm going to use the Scrapbook.com premium foam adhesive. I love these strips. They are just this great skinny width, and that's all this needs is just a little bit of height in between the letters and maybe even right there on the back of that H. I'm going to use these We Are Memory Keeper scissors. They have a Teflon coating to them, so the adhesive sticky part of this foam adhesive won't stick to the scissors, and they stay mostly clean for the most part. Sometimes I gotta go back in and clean them up a little bit, and that's okay. I'm just cutting off, as you can see here, some smallish strips. I think it's important that these little in-between places have a good backup, and this foam adhesive is perfect for that. Don't need a whole lot, but what's so great about it, it's so skinny. It just fits in these spaces so great. And then when you put it on your card base, you've got a little bit of height and depth, and I love that. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere those to my card base, and then we'll go from there. Okay, now that I have this on my card base, I want to just make sure I have enough room over here because I'm going to be adding another sticker to this side. Another technique I like to apply to any of my cards, to any of my edges, is just pulling up the edges of the cardstock. And this is then going to sit on a card base, a folded card base, when I'm all done with everything. And now this, again, this is an optional technique. There's distressors, professional distressors out there that you can use to do this. I'm just using my die cutting machine spatula. It's just nice and strong. I've used a ruler. You can just use your fingers to kind of pull the edges up. Again, it's just all about texture for me and not making the elements look like they are completely flat to the surface. Another product that's exclusive to Scrapbook.com are these sticker books. This one is in Rainbow Sherbet, and you can tell I've been using these a lot. This sticker book has received a lot of love. Also included here, you might be interested to know, are these beautiful labels with the iridescent foil touches. There are plenty of alpha letters as well as more iridescent alpha, uppercase and lowercase. I'm going to take this Hello Gorgeous, but I'm going to add some more of this foam adhesive to it because I don't want this to stick completely to the back of the card base. So I'm going to put this here on the edge. So then when I set it on here, it's not going to be then adhered flat. It's going to have a little bit of height there. You can see with the adhesive, with the foam adhesive. So that's something I employ quite a bit with my stickers. I'm just going to finish this card off with this heart sticker. And as you can see here with the rest of these cards, I've already put them to their background. And you can see the variation on a theme, how these all came from the same idea, but now you're left with 3 different cards and 3 different fun ways to celebrate World Card Making Day. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you will play with this technique too, and I will see you in the next video.